Hi, this is Joy from the Joyful Tomato blog, and today we're going to be exploring what a tomato trellis is. Simply put, a tomato trellis is a framework used to support tomatoes as they grow. And as you can see from the illustrations, there are all different types of frameworks that you can use. There is the arbor type, or just the plain flat types that can lean against a wall or a fence, or that you can put into the ground to stand alone. Other types of trellises that are known or can be constructed are the tomato cage, post and mesh or string, and your basic stake. The greatest thing about trellises is that you don't have to be limited to just plain wood. Use your imagination. Have something that's going to go with your decor. Think about flowers. I mean, there's all different types of trellises that have been created to show off people's flowers. Consider your tomatoes like flowers, something that you want to show off. You know, play with the design. Do something that's going to really complement your surroundings. So what are some of the benefits? I mean, why even go through the problem of setting up a trellis, right? So there's lots of benefits. One of them is that it's easier to cover your plants on chilly nights. For those of you who live in the north, that could be a huge benefit, right? I live in the south, so it's not that big of an issue for me. Another one is that it maximizes the use of space. I mean, your plants are growing up instead of out. It keeps the fruit off the soil and bugs, the bugs that get into them. It allows air to circulate around the plants, which is healthy, for your plants. It's good for your plants to get that air. So another really good reason for those of us that live in the south is that it provides shade. I mean, if you have the plants growing up, you can set it up on a sunny porch that will block out some of that hot afternoon sun. So when you do decide that you want to set up a trellis, to get started, what you do is that you tie a non-slip knot about 4 inches in diameter around the base of the plant. You're giving it room to grow, right? And you run the other end of the line up and over the trellis and cut it off about 2 feet beyond the top bar, and then tie this loose end with a granny knot that will come out easier later. And we'll get into that later on, why you want that granny knot. So you're going to need to train your plants. Your plants aren't going to automatically go for that trellis and start climbing up. You're going to need to teach them that that's what you want them to do, right? So what you do is you take that slack vertical string, which is loosely attached to the bottom base of the plant, and wrap or braid it around the growing vine. Okay, and then as the plant grows taller, the slack in the string disappears, and you can periodically release and retie the granny knot at the top of the trellis to make the twine more available. So hence the reason you want that granny knot. You want a knot that's easy to untie, right? And to be able to retie it. It's because you're going to be adjusting it as through the growing season. So some things to keep in mind before we go. Remember that trellises can be constructed in a variety of ways. You don't need just that straight up and down fence type trellis. Trellises are limited only to your imagination, so be creative. Think of something that's going to complement your home. Think about flowers. People are always setting up something that'll beautifully display their flowers, and there's no reason that you can't do that for your tomatoes. Having tomatoes in the trellis makes it easy to cover at night for those cold, chilly nights, which is really beneficial for anyone living up north. It maximizes the use of space. It keeps the fruit off the soil, allows air to circulate around the plants, and it provides shade for a sunny porch or patio. So one thing to keep in mind when you're looking for your tomato plants is to look for the vine type. The vine type is going to have more success on the trellis versus the bush type or the dwarfs. I hope you enjoyed learning about trellises, and be sure and visit joyfultomato.com blog for more great tomato gardening advice. Thanks for listening.